Hello and welcome to F1 Chat. Today we're going to be talking about the Imola Grand Prix. And so we're going to start with our usual team, Sauber F1 team, stake, kick, whatever you want to call them. So Sauber had another race. Another race. Zhao P15, Bottas P18. There's been rumors that Bottas will join Williams next year. He was seen at their motorhome in Imola. So yeah, and Sauber's performance has been consistently bad. Their pit stops have been improving, but the car has been just kind of nowhere. Haven't really improved throughout the season at all. So yeah, not much to say about Sauber anymore. They're kind of just stuck at the back. And moving on to Williams, we have Albon, did not finish. Sargent, P17. Sargent has another lackluster race. I'm wondering when he's going to get replaced. That didn't mean to rhyme. Sorry. Tough race for Albon, another DNF. He couldn't keep it on the track and he had problems with his car. But yeah, it's been a tough season for Williams. They're having a tough time, just like Sauber, kind of similar story. Although it's a little bit different because I don't think Sauber has many DNFs, but Williams has a lot. So yeah, it's a tough season. I thought they were gonna be better than they are. I really thought they were gonna compete for at least like a 5th or 6th spot in the standings. I thought they might be competitive. Speaking of not being competitive, let's move on to Alpine. Ocon P14, Gasly P16. Ocon and Gasly struggled both the whole weekend. One point last week is probably keeping them somewhat sane here, but yeah, the car is just not there. I mean, they got it back to weight, but it's still not in a great spot for them. They're trying to work through it. Lots of staff turnover, so yeah, Alpine has been struggling quite a bit. And next we have Haas, K-Mag P12, Hulk P11, Hulkenberg. So K-Mag manages to avoid a race ban this week and shows decent pace for Haas. Hulkenberg also nearly got points, but he got caught up in that DRS train, or he was the DRS train. Either way, he got caught up in it. So yeah, it's kind of it's a good result for Haas overall because they're showing that they're not last like their team principal said at the beginning of the season. They're actually in the midfield, although they're starting to fall off a little bit. We'll see how they do this next week in Monaco, but yeah, it's been actually kind of, there's light at the end of the tunnel for Haas for some reason. I don't know why, but it just feels like they're moving in the right direction at least. And next we have V-Carb Racing Bulls, Ricciardo P13, Tsunoda P10, 1 point. Ricciardo looked to be back in his funk again. Writing's on the wall. I think he's going to get replaced soon, or he's not going to be back in F1. He just can't seem to get a consistently good race after race. You know what I mean? He had a good race in one place, and then he just back to his normal P13 or whatever. Just seems like he's just so washed. And then Yuki, I keep saying this every episode, he's developed into one of the most consistent drivers on the grid, another point scorer. I mean, if he keeps doing this, he's going to find himself at Red Bull or another team that is hopefully better, not just the second Red Bull team. So yeah, Yuki needs to keep it up. He needs to keep it up or even push to do better. I mean, obviously the car is a limitation of that, but he's doing a good job. And next we have Aston Martin, upside down week for them. Alonso P19, Stroll P9, 2 points. Alonso struggled for pace all weekend. He couldn't keep it on the track. It's a rare fail from him, a rare bad weekend. And Stroll showed a rare weekend of poise. They flipped. Usually it's Alonso that shows poise and gets points, even in a bad situation. This week it was Stroll. Yeah. I mean, Do I need to say more? Like, yeah, Stroll. Uh, Next, Mercedes. Hamilton, P6, 8 points. Russell, P7, 7 points. Fastest lap. Extra point for the fastest lap. Hamilton had a quiet race, but managed another P6 despite not really advancing. And Russell, he had an average race. Wasn't brilliant, but wasn't bad with the fastest lap. Scored 7 points. The main thing with Mercedes is that they keep doing this, like, anywhere from like 12 to 6, and then they get those points, but they're struggling to keep up with McLaren. They're a lot of points behind. So it's kind of tough to be a Mercedes fans because you're kind of just stuck in fourth, but you're not really, like, Aston Martin's not a threat, but you're also not a threat to McLaren. So what do you do? Like, what are they doing? They're just coasting at this point. Literally just coasting. So yeah, it's a little bit frustrating if you're a Mercedes fan. Hamilton leaving. Maybe you sign Sainz. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. And next we have McLaren. Piastri, P4, 12 points. Norris, P2, 18 points. Now, Piastri showed that the new McLaren has pace, and he also showed improvement in his own race pace, because typically when he starts further up on the grid, he tends to lose out at towards the end of the race, or in the middle of the race. He tends to fall off a bit and drop down from where he was. But this race, he stayed strong. The pace was good, and he kept fourth place, which is amazing. I wish he could have gotten third, but I'll take it. And then Norris had another great race. Story of two halves. First half, he struggled. He couldn't seem to get those medium tires going. And then on the second half of the race, he found himself 7/10 behind Verstappen, just needing a lap or two more to pass for the win. And I was on the edge of my seat for those last 10 laps. Thought he could do it. And then last lap, I was like, oh, I think maybe it's over. Like, he's on. And you could tell, like, he was pushing to the absolute limit. He was, like, basically violating track limits almost every single lap, I feel like, or very close to it. It was crazy. He was pushing so hard at the end, but unfortunately, I think if he found that pace like a few laps earlier, he would have had Verstappen earlier and would have won. But really good effort. I like where McLaren's at. I think they're the second fastest team on the grid, if not one of the fastest. So yeah, I like where they are. Next we have Ferrari. Sainz P5, 10 points. Leclerc P3, 15 points. Sainz had a good race, was hurt by strategy decisions. Ferrari left him out there. They didn't pit to cover off Piastri right away, and they probably should have, because as it turns out, Piastri did have the pace to keep up and cover the pit. So yeah, kind of tough. Typical Ferrari stuff. Leclerc had the pace, but he made a mistake, cut the chicane, trying to chase Lando late in the race. And after that, he didn't have any more. His tires were cooked. He was done. I mean, but on the positive side for Ferrari, podium keeps him ahead of McLaren for now. They're still in second, comfortably, like 60 points or something. So, I mean, you're not really that mad, I guess, if you're Ferrari. You wish you were better. You wish you had a better race for both drivers, but overall, it's not the worst. Then we have Red Bull. Perez P8, 4 points. Verstappen P1, 25 points. Verstappen's first victory, we actually had to work for it. Red Bull has competition now, McLaren, Ferrari. But Verstappen also won his online 24-hour Nürburgring race, so pretty impressive by him. Won 2 races in less than 3 hours, because he's that kind of guy, I guess. I don't know. I mean, just the guy is just completing side missions now. He doesn't even, F1's a side gig. Like, he I don't know what to make of that. Like, he's just insane. And then Perez breaks his good driving streak in this race. Interested to see how he goes in the next few races, because last year a similar thing happened. He got to the European leg of the F1 season, and Perez just forgot how to drive in every single race, qualifying especially. But he like just forgets how to drive in Europe. I don't know what it is about Europe, but yeah, it's pretty weird. I mean, we'll see what happens in Monaco and the next few races, but yeah. So that's gonna wrap up F1 chat for today. Tune in next week for Monaco's review, and like and subscribe.